Welcome Vamshi Krishna ji to this research program. I've got a few questions to ask. The first question is, please fully explain the mantra drishti phenomenon. What are its constituents? Is it a spiritual experience?
Jai Guru Tattva. Nama Shabda Brahmane. Commenting the research project about Veda and its musical relevance and allied subjects, I would like to lay some emphasis about the philosophical perspective of a mantra. What exactly is the philosophy? These days we deal with the subject philosophy more in the contextual of non-dualism or dualism. And in some contexts, when we say doctor of philosophy means one who has thoroughly mastered a particular subject with its intricate and innate meanings. That is the contextual meaning we use the term philosophy as. If we apply the same logic, what would be the phenomenon of mantra and what are its constituents? That is your question.
Yes.
Manvanam tragata iti mantraha. This is the brief derivative etymology. Man is the mana avabodhana is the dhatu. Trajata iti tranam. Trana is to protect. One who reminisces, remembers the gist or the essence of a particular subject or a line or a sentence, he is protected by that sentence. That is the etymological meaning of mantra. But sometimes it may seem as absurd. How can a sentence protect a live person? Because a sentence is nothing but a piece of dead paper, nothing more than that. How can a piece of dead paper protect someone who is lively? This is the beauty of the question and the etymological meaning of mantra. Then comes the next question. Okay, even if we sanction and grant that it has the capacity to protect, how can that happen? Being a rationalist, we always emphasize the need of cause and effect. If this is the cause, if I am slapping, both hands are mingling, and due to this action and reaction, you are getting a sound. Similarly, something should happen out of the mantra. How does it happen? Does it really happen? Or it just a mere placebo effect? Just to your psychosomatic interpretations, are you getting some sort of this thing? These are 3 or 4 questions which normally permit a skeptical mind first. I am not talking about a believer. The believer himself is always besieged by the power of the mantra. You can name it as an aspect of sound power. So before analyzing this aspect, let us deal with 2 subjects. Mantra has 2 aspects. One is the Shabda, the other is Artha. Protection is possible by both the ways. Protection is possible by both the ways. As we had broached upon, mantra, a sentence is not a mere wording or a group of letters written on a piece of dead paper. It is not exactly that. It's only a visual representation of a particular spectrum of knowledge. So if at all something is protecting you, this is not this piece of paper. You may destroy it, you may burn it, you may throw it away. But this is not the one which is actually giving you the protection. The power of this sound, the immense power that actually is captivating your mind. That is the power of the sound. That is one level. Okay, the next rationalist question comes to the fore. How can a sound protect someone? then we should deal with the basic physics. What are the forms of power? Basic question, physical question. The basic forms are, we can just conclude is this way. It is by the light and by the sound. These are the basic forms of energy. Either it is by sound or it is by light. Either of them, power has to be transmitted. This is undeniable. Suppose you utter a good word. Even if you do not know the language, your body language or body signage, it will immediately appease the person and soothe the person who is actually aggravated and alleviated. Okay, I am happy. With a soothing word. Even if you don't know the word. I am talking about a normal context. If a normal word can make a person happy, not only a human, but even an animal, even a creature, even an insect, or even a bird happy, then what about the philosophical aspect, without which because see, most of these creatures are not in a position to comprehend what is actually made out, but the feeling is conveyed through this medium of a sentence. Hence, the power is transmitted through the medium of sound. Hence, the integral part of and the most apparent part of a mantra is sound. Hence, this Shabda Shakti is regarded as Shabda Brahma. Shabda Brahma. This Shabda Brahma has innumerable forms, out of which our tradition, the Indian tradition, the Bharatiya Sanatana Dharma Sampradaya teaches Omkara as the primordial sound. So this is the most common and basic form of a mantra is Omkara. This is one aspect. Shabda Brahma. Then Shabda has one more aspect in it. In fact, it is two. One is the physical sound and the second one is the meaning behind it. This is what we call Saraswati Brahma or Vak Artha. Vak is the external representation, whereas the meaning or the Artha is behind the external representation. Shruti, that I mean Veda, it gives a beautiful depiction through a small story. Once there was I can't say it's a controversy, but it was some sort of a dialogue out of rivalry. Out of rivalry, the presiding deities of Vak and Artha, they both had a argument. Who is more important? If I just deem something in my mind, would that be conveyed effectively? And can that make a difference? Or should I utter it physically by my mouth? That was the question. Then Prajapati has ultimately ruled that no doubt Vak is important, the external sound is important, but the feeling behind it is more important than what is uttered. And this concept has been invariably it has been narrated through many stories. It has been regarded as the dispute between marital discord between Brahma and Saraswati. Let us take those legends for other mythological purposes. But the essence of that is, Artha is very important. When you say, please come, actually you may mean that you can leave now. Because the meaning, please come, actually you are not calling him inside, you are asking him to come out. So only these words will make a lot of difference. And in our Shastra, there are many theorems which beautifully explains. Once he says, Visham Bhunkshva, eat the poison. What exactly is conveyed by this? Do you want me to eat this poison and die? No. The context is, he wants to go to an enemy's place, whom he does not regard or know or realize that he is an enemy. He said, I have been invited to so-and-so X person's place to have dinner. He said, Okay, this friend has valiantly tried him to avoid that, but he was very adamant on this. Then he said, okay, all the best, please you go and enjoy the poison. He says that. What exactly is meant by that? He says, don't go. That is the meaning of Visham Bhukshva. That is why Prajapati has finally ruled that, no, the meaning is more important. That does mean that the power is not full, or it is half empty, half full? No. What exactly is meant by this legend and this narration is that the sound of the mantra reaches its highest potential only when it is backed up by its full meaning. That is why the mantra has to be regarded in the twin aspects of Shabda as well as Artha.
Okay.
Shabda and Artha, both are equally important in the context of a mantra. Take it as any mantra, even if you start with Omkara and extend it, expand this scope to the entire Veda, Purana, Shastra, etc. or Stotra Vangmaya, out of which we all make our devotional livelihood. Everything is expanded by this Stotra, Shabda as well as Artha. Again, mantra has its about 2 or 3 important aspects of it. What will become a mantra? Now we are convinced to some extent that mantra has Shabda and Artha, both are equally important. Without either of them, it will be half full. It is only half. It would be half full, it would not be complete. That we are convinced to some extent. Now next question arises. How do you exactly determine that this is a mantra or not? That's the next aspect of it. For that, our tradition has laid down 3 important aspects. Rishi, Chandas, Devata. Rishi, Chandas, Devata. Rishi is the one who has actually first had the privilege of visualizing that particular mantra through again divine benediction or invocation. Since this is very subtle, let us not go beyond this point that how exactly, that's totally a very, very, very subtlest transcendental aspect. Let us not discuss that. But who has first visualized this, who had that first privilege? That is the Rishi. Okay. Now, the Rishi, after having conceived this, how did he express it? We all know Ramayana, how it has derived. Tapasvadhyaganartam tapasvi vagvidamvaram Naradam paripapracha Valmikir munipagavam. Which comes first? Whether the sound or the meaning behind it? Which comes first?
Obviously the meaning.
Meaning first. Then how it is represented by the way of sound. That is the next aspect. Then to express it you require a syllable. You require an akshara. Through this only this can be expressed. Thus, when you want to express the syllable through it, naturally it has to be the words, grouping of words, which naturally form a sentence. Then the question of the representation will come. Then the chandas or the meter will come. If you want to utter a sentence, what should be its length? What should be its duration? What should be its order? Duration, order. That is the chandas or the matra. These many matras, these many letters will constitute a particular chandas. This is the second aspect of it. Now the third and more important aspect is who is intended, who is contemplated by this sentence. Whom are we invoking? Or what do you want to convey? And who is the recipient of your speech? Unless there is a recipient, you can't say something. Otherwise people will just disregard you as a lunatic. So there has to be some recipient. Who is that recipient? One more important aspect which we should actually mention here is mantras are of many types. The Mimamsa Shastra beautifully categorizes all of them. Some of them are Prayoga Samaveta Artha Smarakaha mantra. Prayoga Samaveta Artha Smarakaha mantra. Once you say Shundhadvandayvya Jakarmane Devayajyayi, which literally means please cleanse all the vessels for the ritual, for the divine ritual. Shundhadvandayvya Jakarmane Deva Yajgaji. These type of mantras are found in Yajurveda in abundance. Prayoga Samaveta Arthasmarakaha mantra. Once you want to start a ritual or a rite or a particular action, the mantras which are closely related to the particular action and instigate you to do something, they are the mantras in Yajurveda. The second aspect of the mantra, second type category is the Stavaka mantra. Stavaka mantra, or the mantras which extol a particular object. Don't think that it's only thinking about a deity. Normally, the researchers or the writers normally conclude that only one supernatural being or some supreme primordial force is actually. But the beauty of Veda is it lays equal emphasis starting from Indra or Vishnu to even a broomstick. Can you ever fathom this? The broomstick which sweeps the Vedi says Athogyad Vedascha Vedascha Bhavatah Prajapatirvai Vedaha. By this, what is actually given? What is the message in it? It says you have to identify the divinity everywhere. As someone has very beautifully said, if you do not find God everywhere, you will find Him nowhere. If you do not find God everywhere, you will find Him nowhere. Similarly, the Vedic idiom, the temperament, always emphasizes that once you want to extol something, whom are you extolling? If the Paramatma is not present in this molecule, then he is not Paramatma, he is something like you only. You are not present in the next molecule. Similarly, God is also very limited. Then how can he be Ananta? If God is not found in a gutter or in a drainage or in some creatures, some insects, then he is not God at all. So he has to be everywhere. But for the Vyavahara, Laukika Vyavahara, for our daily transactional basis, you have to make some categorization, some discrimination. That is okay. But don't lose the connecting thread, the Sutratma. Please understand that it is everywhere, all pervading. Hence, the mantra, it extols everyone. If you just open a Yajurveda book, you will find it. Even in Rigveda also, we have got a number of such instances where you don't know who is the deity. Because at sometimes they say Vanaspatya, Vanaspatajaha. Vanaspatya Sukta means it keeps on extolling this thing. Sometimes it even praises a weapon. And sometimes it praises a cattle. Sometimes a broomstick, sometimes a small branch of a tree, a fig of a tree, a fruit, a flower, even a grain, even the soil, sometimes even the roga, yakshma, papa, in the sin. So nothing is external to this because only to the prevalence of God everywhere. So that is the third aspect of the mantra. After Rishi, after Chandas, the more divulgent, more important thing is the deity. So deity is actually, it's only contextual. Don't think that deity is something deified by something. Deity is someone who is actually meant by this, the essence of the mantra or the meaning of the mantra. So these are the three aspects of mantras. Next comes the question. How many types of the mantras are there? That is the next question. After having realized that there is the sound as well as the meaning are equally important to a mantra, without which it will not reach its fullest potential, and the three important aspects of mantra, that is Rishi, Chandas and Devata, now we have to categorize how many mantras are there. I think you wanted to discuss about the Veda Vyasa's aspect of it.
That is the second part.
Yes. At that time we will explain this.
But now, may I ask a supplementary question in this? Now, when, as you said, that mantra drishta is the rishi who first, gets the mantra. So, in what form does he see it? Does it also have, as you said, meaning, sound? It already has. Does it already have the chanda, swara, everything? What is the morphology?
Yes, for this, we need to examine this issue from two perspectives. Whether the sound is temporal or permanent. Whether it is purely temporary or permanent. This question has been very deeply delved into by many shastras. Varno nityaha, shabdo nityaha, shabdo nityaha. The Purva Paksha says, no, it is not permanent. The moment you say Suvrata, after you utter this two, Suvrata is not anymore. Okay. Then if someone like this person who is sitting me, he will also say Suvrata. Whether this is same or not. Then again we need to come to the basic question. What is permanence? What is permanence? He said, no sir, I am a permanent resident of this country. One who says, displaying his voter ID card or something, I am a permanent resident. Then again this question comes, what is permanence? Do you exactly mean that you will live for 200 years or 1000 years or 2 million years? No. Then why do you call permanent? That is called Vyavahara Nitya. And you say this is a permanent feature of this country. People come here like this and say, okay, if you go to Ganga Nadi and you ask what is there, so now we are going to the rainy season, the water is muddy, murkier, and it's almost brownish color. It's a permanent feature of Ganga to be like this. What is permanence? Permanence has its own, the term has its limitations.
Relativity.
Limitations. And it's also purely contextual. If at all something is which is permanent, which does not have any derivations of it, and which is avikarya, which does not have even a iota of a change in it, that's only Parabrahman alone. That is the basis bedrock of our entire philosophy. Then what about these permanences? These are all actually, as you said, they are relative. Shastra has says pravaha nityatva. Pravaha nityatva means, hey, what is there? Water is flowing in the Ganga. What, is it same water? No. Yesterday there was water, today is there water, and even in the next minute there will be water. But that water and this water are not same. But they are similar. They are similar, but not the same. Similarly, when I say Suvrata, and he says Suvrata, and you say Suvrata, actually they are similar to this thing. In that context, Suvrata the word is permanent. Then it has been explained this way, Jati and Vyakti. Jati and Vyakti. Jati is the species. Jati is the species, and it natures its DNA, or you can call it a DNA, or its characteristics. They are permanent. Gotva Jati, Go Vyakti. Gotva Jati is the species of cow. The species of the cow do not subside or expire once a cow dies. The characteristics will continue through other this thing. Similarly, the mantra, if you want to know whether it is permanent or not, means in a way it's permanent, in a way it is not.
Okay.
In a way it is permanent, it is permanent. Then your original question will come to the fore. How did they perceive it? The jati was there. The jati, it is there. The characteristics are there. But its manifestation has happened through this medium of a rishi. So it is permanent. Yesterday your guru taught you, say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. He has started, he has left. Probably he might have died. From yesterday to this day, you did not have Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. Suddenly after seeing a Guruji, suddenly it came to your mind. Do you think it is your own manifestation? Are you the karta for this thing?
Not at all.
No one can claim that. That is the beauty of our entire philosophy. No one says that I am the creator of it. We say there are several fountain heads of a huge stream going on. I am lucky to be one of the fountain heads. I am only a tap point. So God has chosen me as one of the tap points. Once it is opened, it is emanating out of me. I am not the source of it. It is the permanent, perennial source of flow. I am only an outlet of it. So all the rishis can be construed this way. That is the reason you will never say a particular rishi being claiming that he is the karta. Even if their names are there, they say, "No, what am I? What am I? I am not the creator of it. I am only a medium of it. A medium never can be a creator."
Okay.
So this is the analogy and the chronology of the mantra drashtritva.
Okay. So, further supplementary question naturally comes, is that in what form did a mantra first has been seen by, say for example, Bharadwaj or...
No, okay. I said, to achieve the fullest potential of a mantra, you need to know the artha as well as the shabda.
Shabda.
Okay. Yeah. Guru Brahma, as I said, once you see a Guruji, automatically when you had the something has come to our mouth, first to mind, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. In what form did it come? In what form did it come? You are a musician by training, and you had seen one beautiful piece of a clipping, either by some internet channel or someone was playing something. Immediately, some more improvisations had occurred to your mind. Purely they are by training and your circumstantial circumstances. But in what form did they happen? They are the subtlest form. As someone has very rightly said, all the acts, all the great works are flashes of brilliance. They are flashes of brilliance. It is not always there, but you don't know when it comes out. All of a sudden you get a great idea, and similarly great products have come out, great evolutions had happened, great revolutions had happened, great destructions had also happened. It's all flashes of waves. Okay, coming as a tsunami, something is just submerging everything.
Yes.
And if it is so powerful, it will submerge not the person who is the source for this thing, but the entire community or even humanity also. As we had seen, deluge of many such ideas, which even the internet revolution or even say some epidemics, everything, they all happen through one flash. Similarly, it's in its everything is very anu. That is very subtlest form to begin with. Then the power of it and its potence, normally it determines how long it will spread. Similarly, these mantras are also, they occurred in the minds of the sages, the visionaries, who had the first opportunity to again express that, the ever-existing sound, ever-existing knowledge. They were the first visionaries who could express that. So, as I said, when you can determine that to sing a Vilambit Khayal or say Guru Brahma or something, or to speak something, in what form did it come? Did it come in English or your mother tongue? And what was the subject? What is the precedence of that? That is so subtle that you will never be able to determine that which came first. So that's the subtlest of this thing. That is Anutara or Anutama or Anishtha. So in that form, everything is a package. It's as simple as a single biological cell entering from the father's body to the mother's body. So with one small nanoparticle, it comes loaded with all the thoughts and all the genealogical changes and even the traits of the father, grandfather, etc. Everything comes so subtle. Once it gets this thing means it fertilizes into and it assumes a full form. Similarly, these stanzas, they have immense and innumerable meanings, but they come in a very subtle form. So that is how they had the opportunity of visualizing those mantras.
Now, most of the examples which you were giving, they were either in the conscious state or in an unconscious manner which things happen. But in case of a rishi, it is neither a conscious thing nor is it an unconscious.
The unconscious means again it's purely contextual. Because why I am saying is conscience means what is the level of conscience we are talking about? When you do not have when you are oblivious to the existence of your body, many times it happens to you, me or me. When you are totally immersed in a set of music concert or a cricket match or something, it will happen to everyone, to me or you. So you are oblivious to the existence of your body. If you call that as the unconsciousness, yes, that was the state.
That was the state.
That was the state.
Okay.
Because at that time, they did not have anything to convert. It's a samadhi sthiti, and you're not actually aware of the existence of the body itself.
Right.
That is, if you call it unconscious, okay. If you call it pure consciousness, as it is.
Okay.
It all, it's our method of interpretation.
Yes, yes. I'm just referring to meditation at a level of transcendental.
The transcendental plane, let's call it that way.
Yes, yes.
Transcendental plane.
So, mantra is a spiritual experience. That is, do you agree to this statement or not?
No, philosophical spiritual statement means it has two things to. Unless you reach that state or want to achieve that state, it merely remains as a physical experience. Once you want to elevate yourself to the other level, it has the potential to give the other this thing.
Okay.
For that also I can give you one example, very simple example. You can take a sentence in its purely physical level, and you can also take it to the highest level, same sentence. It can be read, the meaning can be reinterpreted this way or that way. Okay. If you just look at a scoreboard, you will get this thing. If you want to have an in-depth analysis of it, you are totally immersing yourself or losing yourself. Immersing yourself in some subject and losing yourself. So that identity, separate identity is automatically missing.
Okay.
So it all depends on the state of the person who is actually doing the prayoga or who is uttering it. And the person who is listening to that. Some of the times, one more peculiarity of this thing is, at times, a person who is talking might not achieve that level, but the sound has the capacity to transport the listener to the higher level. It happens many times. It happens fortunately or unfortunately with many Vedic scholars. Whereas they are totally immersed in the nuances of the wording orders, etc., or the next, what to chant next. And to dhara, the continuity, they are more worried about these specifics, whereas the listener is automatically transported to a higher plane.
Yes, absolutely.
That is the power of this thing. Though some might realize its meaning also, some might not.
Yes, yes.
So it depends on the context.
Yes.
The carrier as well as the prayokta, who does this thing.
Why I dwelt upon this question for a long time is because I have read that a spiritual experience has got minimum 3 points of recognition for the rishi or a person who is going through that experience. One is the sound. He can hear that experience. Other is he can feel that experience somewhere. And third is he can see that.
Okay, now we are talking about the sensory experiences. Actually, sensory experiences do not have much value because the Shastra, Vedanta Shastra and other Shastras give us some little insight about this thing. How exactly are you perceiving a particular matter? How exactly are you perceiving? That is why Chakshu Shrotra Jihva Ghrana. When you say that, are you meaning to a physical limb? No. This is Chakshurindriya. This is Shrotrendriya. Shrotrendriya is resident or it is represented by the physical ear. Shrotrendriya, indriyas are not physical. Indriyas are sensory capacities. Then their capacities. When do you realize your capacity? When you apply your mind. You are able to stand up, but you don't realize that capacity. Come on man, you are already okay, please get up. Once he says, oh I am working, he starts getting up. So sensory capacities are not physical. How do you perceive something? Tadakara karitva. Tadakara akaritva. These sensory capacities will detect an object. They detect an object. And the existence of such object is transported to the mind. The mind will automatically assumes its form and experiences it. Suppose you are seeing a black pot. The blackness and the pot is transmitted by the optical nerve. You can call it a retina, there are many physical subdivisions. So the optical nerve transports to the mind. What will happen? What does the mind do? The mind will assume that form. The mind has a great capacity to assume many forms which are coming to us, which are coming to that. And even unseen forms are also assumed by the mind. That is the reason why you have great products and inventions on this day. If you want to have a great car and a great bike or great aeroplane or a wonderful electronic gadget, something hitherto unknown to the mind is also conceived by that. That has many factors to how, through which it does. So, when you say when you hear a mantra, whether it is hearing experience or a visual experience, means actually they are actually immaterial. Whatever is coming through one or the other organ, okay, sensory capacity, it is coming to the same central station. It is assuming those forms. So finally it is the manaha anubhava, manonubhava. That is the main thing. So whether you receive from A or B or C does not arise.
Okay.
Finally the experience remains at the same place.
Okay, let's go to the next question, Guruji. Which aksharas, if any aksharas, are categorized in terms of the swaras which are inherent in those swaras? For example, if A, A, E, E or these aksharas, do they have swaras incorporated in them, inherent, embedded in them? And is there any such categorization available?
Yes. For this, let us go a little into the Shabda Shastra, the specifics of the Shiksha. And Siddhanta Kaumudi, Kashika Vritti are some of the grammatical texts which also explain this thing. Padini Siksha also gives us a list. And the letters are of 2 or 3 types. The first category remains Swara. Swayam Rajanta iti Swaraha. Swayam Rajanta iti Swaraha. Which do not require any other external aid, which emanate out of their tone. They are called the swaras.
Okay.
Then what do you mean by internal and external? Because whatever you want to utter, it has to come out of your mouth only. Which means, which do not require the 2 limbs of the mouth, 2 limbs of the entire this, because there are, it's not exactly the mouth. The mouth is only the last part. There are actually 7 to 8 parts, which are the very important aspects of the pronunciation, which do not require 2 limbs to touch each other, come together. They are the swaras. A, I, U, A, I, O, Au. Aha. Aha, actually it is the Anuswara and Visarjaniya. They require some touch. So they are not actually swaras. They are called Ayogavahas. The Pratishaksha says that there are only 3 pure syllables. They are called Samana Akshara. Athanavadita Samana Aksharani. Athanava Aditaha Samana Aksharani. Samana is the one which do not have any confluence or any joints. That is the Samana Akshara. So, A, I, U. A, I, U. These are the 3 letters. They become 9 by the duration of its utterance.
Okay.
Hrasva Dirgha Pluta. Hrasva is Ekamatra, Dirgha is Dvimatra, Pluta is Trimatra. So 3 into 3 becomes 9. Okay. Hrasva Dirgha Pluta. So they have become 9. Here we have one nasal aspect of it. Once you add the nasal aspect of it, it becomes Sanunasika. The other one becomes Neranunasika. Sanunasika, Neranunasika. A, A, I. So, Sanunasika, Neranunasika Bhedena, Dvidha. Then 9 into 2 is 18.
Okay.
9 into 18 is?
2 is 18.
Yes. Then the swara aspect of it comes. Swara has 2 meanings. One is the ach aspect of it. This one is the its levels. Let me call it a level for our easier identification. Udatta, Anudatta, Swara. They are the actual Swara dharmas. Ach dharma. For in grammatical aspect, we always call it aj dharma. Swara is ach dharma.
Acha dharma.
Ach dharma. That means a characteristic, a particular aspect. As I said, kala is one. Harasva, dirgha, pluta is one aspect of it. Sanunasaka, nirananasaka is one aspect of it.
Okay.
Similarly, this swara, udatta, anudatta, swarita are also one aspect of it.
Which you call levels.
Yes.
So the third.
Why I called it level was Uchchairudatta, Nichairudatta, Samahara Swaritaha. Uchchai Udatta means which is uttered in the higher, in the palate, and the other parts which comes out in the higher part is Udatta, which comes in the lower part is Anudatta, and one which has a mixture of both of these characteristics is called the Swarita.
Okay.
So there are in total 3 swaras. 3 into 18 is 54. So we have 54 combinations of a Samanakshara, A, I, U. Our Dharma Shastra and the Mantra Shastra gives us Aha Vishnu, Hi Brahma, Uhu Shambhu, something like this. Because there are 3 murtis, these 3 aspects are represented by the A, I, U. Next comes R, L. They are actually not, they are not pure Ach, pure swaras. They have a consonant aspect in them. Shabda Shastra says it is like Narahari, Narasimhavat. It has in the central core, as you have gluten in a wheat grain. In the central core, it is the Hal Dharma.
Okay.
Embedded by the Aj Dharma.
Oh, I see.
R. So exactly you are not able to determine whether it is R means what is the difference between Repa, Ra and what is R. It has both aspects of it. Similarly, L. And next comes the A, I, O, Au. They are called Sandhyaksharas. Because it has the combination of A, I in A, I. A, U in O and Au. They are Sandhyaksharas. So Samanakshara, and Vyanjana Garbhita Swara and Sandhyakshara, Sandhiswara. So there are actually 3 categories in this thing. All of them have the aspect of Swara in it. It's one of the characteristics of a Ach.
Okay. Now coming to the supplementary question of this, is that when richas were seen, I may use the word seen, did they have swaras in them or naturally?
As I said,
yes.
As I said, as a single molecule entering the, which is giving a shape to a great human body, along with its mind, etc. All the aspects encompassed in it, encapsulated in it. Naturally, once a thought means it comes with everything together. It's not part and parcel.
Okay. Now coming to Vyasaji, he had because the fear was that Vedic civilization may, not continue if we don't distribute the Vedas into for 3 responsible people who would only Rig Veda, Yajur Veda and Sama Veda. So what was the necessity of having 3 different Vedas when the Swara is already incorporated in the mantra?
Let me come back to the earlier question of mantra and its and its categories. I said mantra has 3 aspects of it: Rishi, Chandas, Devata. Now its categories by its form. Naturally, by form comes the name. Name and form are integral part of any creature, any being. Nama Rupa. So, according to its Rupa, its form, each had got one name. Rig has it's a form which has a set pattern of a limited number of syllables in each sentence, each line. This is the Rig. And Yajus is the unlimited, which does not have a fixed parameter, that means the fixed number of letters in it. It could even be 1 letter or it could even be 1000 letters. So that sort of flexible fixation is the Yajus. These are the 2 important aspects of it. and the improvisation of a rik is called sama. Improvisation of a rik is called sama. These are the three important aspects of mantras: rik, yajus, sama. These patterns are existing in all the Vedas. Probably the degree may vary. Yajurveda has innumerable rik mantras in it, and it also has a 2 or 3 representations of Samaveda also in it. Similarly, Sama has Archika, which is the foundation of the entire Sama. That is called Archika Bhaga. It is purely Riks only, alone, nothing more than that. Rigveda also has the Riks. Why it is called Rigveda means there are almost 99% everything is Rigveda. But at times it has very long sentences which they call it as Atidhriti, etc. Atichandaha, Atidhriti. Atichandaha means one which has transcended the limits of a chandas is Atichandas. Okay. So that is quite similar to Aegis only. So all the three aspects are prevalent in all the three Vedas. So then what did exactly Vyasa do? What did exactly Vyasa do? That comes the question. Was it necessary? If he had not done that, what would have been? And these are the three questions. How are the mantras utilized? Primarily there are of two aspects. One is the ritualistic aspect of it. The other one is the upasana aspect of it. Upasana, when you are alone and you are only communicating directly with the Godhead or the Supreme Being or the Paramatman, that is one upasana aspect of it. The second one is the physical application into various rituals. In the rituals, we require all the three sets of mantras. All the three sets of mantras, they were required. So each rishi had its own. Even before Vyasa also, there were sets of hundreds of rishis were there. There were many Veda Shakhas who were visionaries and who had imparted even to Veda Vyasa also. His father and his grandfather, they had all imparted this thing. Vyasa had not conceived any of these mantras. He had only categorized it. Categorization was also already there. He has only enlisted it. We should, to be very precise, he has only enlisted it. That is the mantra anukramanika. Mantra anukramanika, just categorizing it, whatever the categories are there, just putting all of them in one particular order. This is what he has done. And what was the necessity of it was, convenience was one aspect of it.
Okay.
Convenience was one aspect. And the second aspect was diminishing human capacity to reminisce everything, the memory capacity. That was the second aspect. So due to these two factors, and further he had established the lineage system. At least if you are not in a position to memorize everything, at least confine to one basic aspect of it, which you call it Swashakha, or you are supposed to belong to this particular pattern stream. So confine yourself to one aspect. Next, you can branch out to, you can